What's up, guys? Welcome out. It is a beautiful day today. We have had really good weather. We had about 2 weeks where it wasn't supposed to rain. We cut all the hay last week and now we're raking it. So we're actually almost done raking. This is the last field. We've been raking for, well, no, this is the second day of raking. So we raked it all in 2 days. But yeah, we're about done raking. And then it has to dry a little bit more because you don't want to bale the hay too wet, or else when you stack it, it will light itself on fire. If it has too much moisture, it'll just start to get hot and it'll just burn. It'll just start burning. So we have to wait until it's just right. Now the problem is, it's Wednesday, and come Monday, it's supposed to rain. We do not want this hay to get rained on, so we're hoping, fingers crossed, that we will be able to get this baled by the weekend. It's pretty dry already. I don't think it has much drying left to do, and I think we'll be able to bale it. So hopefully we'll get this all raked today. There's actually one field behind the dairy that was pretty dry before. So we might actually try baling, well, we'll check it, but we might try baling that later today. But yeah, I'm just out here raking. This field's a little funky because it has this pivot right here, which is a wiper, so it just does, it's a little more than half wiper. But then it goes up against this other pivot over here that does a full circle. So where they meet up, you have these weird little like rows that are short. So just trying to get as much done as I can. Somebody's gonna come trade me off here in a little bit because I have to go. This pivot is pretty small. It's only a 5 tower, but I just did the outside span. I have, let's see, 4 more spans to do, and then we'll be done. Just have to do the corners after that. But this hay is pretty light and fluffy. It's pretty dry on top, but we have to flip it because it won't get any more dry just being laid out like this. I've always liked raking. Just watching the 2 rows come together into one is always fun to do. The problem with this field is you can kind of see it was planted straight. When we planted this is its 2nd year in hay. So when we planted this, they planted it straight. And last year we actually cut it straight. But then you had to bounce over all the pivot tracks, which was not fun. So this year we decided to cut it in a circle with the pivots, which is nicer because you don't have to bounce over the pivot tracks constantly. And when you do bounce over the tracks, especially with the rake, the tines hit the dirt and it ends up breaking the tines off. So I don't like to do that. But since it was planted straight and now we're cutting it in a circle, it is a little rough. Like right here is smooth because I'm kind of going with it. But once I go around, it just bounces across. So next time we plant a pivot, we will definitely be planting in a circle because yeah, that's definitely the smoothest way to do it. But I'm gonna keep going and see how much I can get done of this before I have to go. Well, I didn't get it all done. There's probably another hour and a half left, and Trevor just came and traded me off. So he's gonna get that finished, and we'll come back later today and see how it looks, see if it's dry enough to bale. Well, Trevor finished raking all the hay. So that is all done. Now it just has to dry for a few more days. They got the baler out and they went and baled on the driest field. They baled about, what did you say, 8 bales? Yeah. They baled 8 bales and they're way too wet. So those 8 bales are gonna have to sit by themselves and dry out. We don't want to stack them close, but probably another 2 days maybe of drying and then we'll be able to bale. But right now we are headed out to one of the fields that Trevor's running. There's a broken pipe, so we're gonna go out there and try and weld it back together. And yeah, we've got a lot of work to do. Seems like it never ends. Just always something. All right, we're here out in this wheat field. Trevor's moving some pipe out of the way so we can get to the busted main line. Then we'll see what we got to do. Hopefully it's just a little tiny hole or something. What do we got, Trevor? Let's see.
Scrapped out right along here. You can see the holes.
Oh yeah.
But I don't know how bad it is on the bottom.
Yeah. Definitely needs some welding work.
All right, go grab my gloves.
See what it looks like inside.
Boy.
Oh, there's a filter. Whew, barely fit. Yeah, I might be able to clean it up and weld the inside.
I don't think it's broken or anything, is it?
I don't see any.
Right here.
I don't see any holes. There's a little hole right there, but I don't know if that's.
Past the gasket.
Yeah, that should be fine.
It's just right there.
All right. Well, if it's just right there, maybe we'll just weld the outside and call it good. Okay, let's see what we can do here. It's way too high. You want to turn it down a little bit? Whew, that got really hot.
Hotter?
It stuck and then basically just melted the whole rod. Doesn't look pretty, but I think it'll hold. There, now we just got to put it back together. It's not a pretty weld. I don't claim to be a good stick welder. I can MIG weld really well, but stick welding, no. That should not leak. It might have a couple little pinholes where I missed, but you know what, that's okay. It's just gonna spray the weeds over here, so not that big a deal. Well, hopefully Trevor can get his field turned on now, because it's nice and green, but it's a little dark. When it starts to get really dark, that's when you know it needs water, so it definitely needs some water. Well, we're headed out to another one of Trevor's pivots to check on his end gun. It says his end gun isn't working, so there's a line of pipe right there on the edge. I don't see anything going across though, so. Oh, and there's a hose. But we need to just check and see if the solenoid up here, looks like the hose is off. So we'll go up here and check it. Josh is gonna try going between, right here, between this pipe and this fence. We'll see if we can get in. We think if we could just get the truck underneath it, we can stand on top of the welder and reach it without having to get up on the sketchy ladder. So we'll try. Perfect. All right. That little hose just plugs into that bladder, and it puts water into the bladder, and then that bladder is what blocks the water from shooting out the end. So without that hose, it'll just turn on and spray all the time. Now there is a solenoid up here somewhere that also opens up to let water flow. So we're just checking to see if it is good as well or not. Don't worry, just like 10 feet off the ground. No big deal. Might be in the box, maybe. Turns out this one doesn't have a solenoid. I think it has a different system because this one has a booster pump on it, which is that little motor out there. And whenever it needs to be on, the booster pump kicks on and makes more pressure than the little hose, and it just opens. So no solenoid to mess with. Seems like every pivot is different and every system is different, so we're always like, oh, I wonder if it has this system, or I wonder if it has this thing. You never know. You just have to know how all the systems work. No big deal. You just have to know everything about pivots to run a pivot. So yeah, this one's good to go. Now coming into this field, we had to drive underneath that pivot over there that's watering, and we just about got stuck. So we're gonna try coming out this way and going along the edge of this field. Hopefully we can get out, because this field's not watering, so we should be able to get out. Just have to drive through some weeds.
I just plugged it in. Should turn on though.
Well, as soon as that other one finishes. I got that one going finally, but I can't get the wheel line to start.
Oh. There's some ether. You want some ether?
I tried ether in it too. It just sputters, so
Oh.
I called Chris. He's gonna have Jose come out and see if he can get it running. So,
It's probably bad fuel.
Probably.
what's that?
Just take the needle out the bottom of the carb. Just let it run out.
No, because I ain't got a tool because it's freaking Allen wrench.
There's one on here.
Well, yeah, but you weren't over there.
Oh, we barely made it through the mud. So.
Yeah, we went underneath that pivot that's watering.
Oh yeah, that's a bad idea. You should just come straight out that from the tower center point.
I don't want to run over that much grain.
But we made it, barely.
Yeah, if you want to go try that, I'll go get that pivot running, and I'll meet you back over there.
Okay.
This is one of Trevor's wheel lines, and he says that he can't get the motor going. So we're gonna see if we can pull the carb, or not the carb, pull the jet out of the carb. See if we can get it going or something. It's funny that it'll kind of run with no air, but then you give it some air and it doesn't want to run. Had to call out the mechanic to come take the carb apart, see if we can figure out why this won't run. He can fix pretty much anything. Oh, it's running now. This is why we call Jose to come out and fix it, because he can fix anything.
Yeah, next time it doesn't.
I don't know what that was. Gotta drive under this pivot, which, as hot as it is, I don't really care. If I get wet, it'll probably feel good. I didn't get wet though. Darn it. We're back at the shop now. Christopher went and took this. It had the 2 fertilizer tanks on it from when we were doing planting potatoes. But we have to get this. Basically had to get the fertilizer tanks off. Those 2 fertilizer tanks are now out in the field. We'll use those when we're actually fertilizing the potatoes, pumping it through the irrigation. But we baled with our baler. Baled a few bales. It was too wet, so we had to get the tanks off of this so we could go haul those bales and stack them nice and far apart so they don't get hot and light on fire, because that is the last thing we need, is a hay fire. So we're pretty much got this about done, and it's about the end of the day. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to go down below, hit that subscribe button, fill out the form for the RMF Club if you want to join that, and we'll be sending out some stickers here at the end of the week. I love you guys. I'll see you in the next one.